hopes of meeting allies on the road to Shiring were fading with every mile. The only people we saw were sitting by the side of the road, broken and starving. Shiring was riddled with death and despair. I'd heard that Wiggly had just been raided by outlaws, leaving them almost entirely without cattle. Maybe someone there knew where the raiders had come from. But Calford, on the other hand, had a recent falling out with William Hamley. There was a chance that they would be quick to join our resistance. As we reached Wiggly, we met a farmer tending to a scrawny chicken. She told us that Hamley had claimed ownership of all their cattle. Shortly after that, the cattle vanished. Raiders had taken it, throwing William Hamley into a fit of rage. Some say they recognized the thieves, neighbors who had once lived among them. They were long believed to be among the dead. Were we really building our hopes on a pack of ghosts? We entered the village. There was a weary young man trying to repair a roof. He pointed toward a ruined mill. Hamley's Mill, he called it, which used to have the right to grind all grain from the nearby villages. That was until a few days ago. Hamley had come to collect his share and, due to the famine, was met with empty coffers. Enraged, he'd killed the miller and had taken every last bag of flour belonging to the starving people of Calford. Many had fled into the forest, desperate for their lives. On the road to Shiring, a shrouded figure jumped into our path. It was an outlaw. Fumbling a blunt sword once fit for a knight, he demanded our horses and coin. Richard calmly pulled out his own sword, shutting the man up immediately. I asked whether they, the outlaws, had a kind of leader I could speak to. His face said it all, a confused, furrowed brow and a wrinkled nose. "We have no leader, we're on our own," he spat out, then ran away as fast as he could. Shiring had been declining for years. Only the cathedral had been growing day by day, looming over the lands. That cathedral seemed to be sucking the land dry. Its presence was malevolent, like a bad omen. To fund the construction, Hamley had expelled countless tenants who were behind on their payments, taking their possessions. This made the impact of the famine even worse than it already was. I'd been to Monksfield before. It was where I'd met Elizabeth sheltering from the storm. Despite its few inhabitants, it had been a fairly large community with the best soil in the region. Now it was very much abandoned, its farmhouses raided and empty. There was nothing for us here. We needed a better lead for finding the outlaws. The fields of Huntley spurred fond memories. Here, I'd negotiated my first deal to transport and sell the farmer's wool. Now, the meadows had turned to straw, and the sheep were dead. Soon, we reached Uncle Simon's abandoned hut. Our horses needed rest, so we wanted to leave them there while we looked around on foot. Then, I remembered how Richard had been kicked by the man William had paid to catch us, and the horrible sounds he'd made lying there. Inside the hut, I was startled by a hunched figure hiding in a corner, nibbling on a lump of bread. Upon seeing us, the creature's eyes widened, like those of a frightened animal. I asked him where he got bread in times like these. Was it stolen? "No, I got it from the butcher. The people at Sally's quarry told me to ask the butcher," he blurted out, startled by his own voice. Mistaking our interest for greed, he wolfed down the rest of the bread. Before we could ask more, the frightened man jumped up and fled into the forest. The butcher. Was he the one we were looking for? A leader whom the downtrodden trusted and feared? Maybe we could find him at the quarry the man had mentioned. The abandoned quarry was teeming with activity. Many poor souls were gathering around a fireplace, boiling a stew from meat and turnips. It was plain to see that these people weren't held together by blood or profession, but by hunger and desperation. And by their numbers, I thought, that could make them quite dangerous. Were these outlaws? We walked slowly towards them. I sensed that Richard was ready to draw his sword. The first one to notice us was a little girl. Swiftly pointing a finger at us, "Who are they?" she asked the others. All eyes darted towards us. Their reactions were as varied as their faces. Some looked afraid, curious, and confused. Others were full of hatred and contempt. "We're not here to hurt you," I explained. "We just want to talk." "Where can I find the butcher?" I asked. Their faces expressed anger and fear. I explained that we were looking for food. They told us that the butcher was still in Monksfield, but that meat would come every couple of days. I said that wouldn't be a problem, not knowing what they meant. It looked like our path would lead us back to Monksfield. Thank you for giving me and my friend shelter the other day.
Weather's fine now, so what do you want this time?
We're looking for the butcher.
The butcher of Monksfield has long since moved away.
Damn, I can't believe it.
No need for cursing, young man. If you bring me an animal, I can prepare it for you.
Do people call you the butcher then?
Why'd you ask? What do you want?
Do you have a lot of outlaws passing by?
You don't see it in their faces, dear. But we all have been failed by the law and our leaders. Don't you agree?
I asked because we feel the same way. And we're looking for a way to make things right again.
Is that so?
We're looking to build an army, to invade Earl's Castle and kill Earl William Hamley.
Oh my. If it was that easy, someone would have done that a long time ago. The poor souls I meet, they're just simple people. They're not an army.
One of their own should lead them. Like you. You seem to take great care of your people.
In their condition, most of them can barely kill a chicken, let alone a man. These people are mothers, fathers, hard workers, yes, but they are not soldiers.
Right.
She speaks true.
It is the best chance we have. This is a battle for the sake of the people of Shiring, for all of us.
It's rubbish. It's what it is.
We are offering you a chance to rid the land of Hamley, to fight for your freedom.
The last time we saw you here, you were with that young woman. She was freezing, but you didn't care enough to help her. Why would you show more kindness towards a group of dirty and unfriendly bastards if you can't even care for a young, helpless girl?
but that was William's wife. It was good that she didn't pander to her.
Aye, suited her right.
My people seem to trust you. But why should they put their lives at risk? You are not like us.
Right.
Aye.
If you don't help us, we will fight alone. Even with a new king, no one will come to Shiring to remove the Hamleys.
If the mighty and powerful refuse to fight this man, then why should we?
We're hungry and sick. Do we look like we can fight?
I'm not going to help you lead these people to their death. Who are you to think you can face William Hamley?
Yeah,
We're staying
I'm with
here.
her.
We are the children of Bartholomew, Earl of Shiring.
Our father once ruled with a firm but benevolent hand. You must remember how good you had it.
Well, better than now, but that's easy.
He did have guts, though, trying to take on Stephen.
So, you are his daughter and son, you say?
Yes, all we know we learned from him.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Even if we work together, Hamley is too powerful.
You ask us to sacrifice our lives for your noble cause, these people will die.
There's only one person that has to die. William Hamley. And we have a plan that will make sure there'll be no bloodshed.
Is that true?
It is.
I don't believe them. Hamley has an entire army, for God's sake.
I could never face him.
Very true.
I said it before. We all have lost everything, except for our lives. We don't fight other people's battles.
But maybe this is our battle too.
My people will decide for themselves. But I will tell them that I believe that it is indeed a battle worth fighting.
I thank you.
I pray that it will be worth it.
We will all pray, and then we